story. This is our story. Our
2,
journey.
1, Chatan. What's up? What's up, everybody? We are live Tuesday night once again, and we're going to have a good one for you this evening. We got a lot to go over. We're going to take you guys on a little bit of ride. We got to talk about we're going to talk about wizardry in the media, of course, like we always do.
Always.
We're going to talk about victim culture and how that's spreading and becoming a major problem right now. And we're also going to go into ASAP Rocky, and I have a theory about what's going on with him over in Sweden. So stay tuned, guys. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they dying. Everywhere I look, they dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding.
Yeah, that's right. You are watching Young Lion TV. We appreciate you guys being here. We thank you for tuning in. We ask you to, if you are watching right now, just give it a like, give it a thumbs up, give it a share. Let everybody know that you're watching. Let them know that we're here streaming live right now, and they can join in on the conversation. We like to get everybody involved with questions and comments, and to focus in on what people think, because we're talking about real stuff every week. Also, if you want to support what we're doing, if you want to become a member and you want to support the Young Lions, you want to actually become a Young Lion yourself, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Young Lion TV, and you can click to subscribe to be a Young Lion, or you can just donate and become a part of the cause, and you get access to all this special stuff. You can check that out and find out all the information on that. Or you can also purchase some merch that we got. You can go to chatan.com and get some cool merch, t-shirts, and a lot of cool stuff. So with us tonight, we got my brother, of course, Jake Evans.
What's up?
Or as he's known on Instagram, JEE33 Hashem, his new Instagram page.
Why you gotta?
I mean, that's your new page.
Instagram.
Just trying to shout you out, my bro. Trying to shout you out.
I'm changing.
The
my
name is so
Instagram,
complicated. We got to keep saying it so everyone can remember. And then right next to him is always matching up with me on the t-shirt game is Simone Chang.
Not on purpose.
Not on purpose. We just be on the same wavelength, man. Like, I think we
I just got an eye roll from
Rachel swears we coordinate this without telling anybody, but we don't. It's just, we just think the same. We're like, alternate the shirts on the same day. And last but not least, holding it down, trying to make sure everything goes smooth tonight, because we got a lot of clips, we got a lot of articles, a lot of information for you guys. Holding it down, producing for us, and directing and commentating when she can is the great Miss Rachel Rota.
What's up, guys?
And yeah, so that's it. So guys,
What are you gonna say?
Were you about to say something? Okay. So this weekend we were away in Atlanta.
Yes.
And so what I want to get to first is, and I want to get everyone's kind of take on this whole situation, because over the weekend, I think it happened Friday night, there was this hashtag that started trending. I don't know when it started trending. All I know is we got back in Sunday, and I finally was settled. I went on Twitter and I see this hashtag. It says, "I stand with Erica." And I'm like, what is that? And then I start seeing all of these, because literally the Twitter that I go on is the Young Lion TV Twitter, which I'm just following a bunch of news sources. I'm not actively on Twitter. I see why people get addicted to it, because you're just like scrolling through news, like and you start going down these rabbit holes of people's feeds and the comment trains and all that stuff. But so I see this hashtag, "I stand with Erica," and I'm like, what is this? What's going on? So I start seeing all these news articles on it. Georgia lawmaker is told by a white man to go back where you came from. And I started thinking like, oh, here we go. Some white dude is acting up, jumping on what Trump said last week, and they're going to make a big news story out of this because they were just all last week was Trump telling the congresswomen to go back where they came from, quote unquote,
but not really.
Right. Yeah. But that was the story. That was the headline that they had to run with because it like whistles to. They always talk about dog whistling, right? But what they're doing is they're dog whistling to the people that jump on anything that sounds racist, right? So they have to jump on this story, this narrative that, oh, if you say to someone go back where you came from, that's because you're a racist, right? So the whole last week was all about that. So then this story comes out. This woman is told in a grocery store because let's just watch the video and see. So you can see this is what she posted. She did a live stream and she posted this, and this is what caused the reaction.
Go live because I'm very upset because people are getting really out of control with this white privilege stuff. I'm at the grocery store and I'm in the 10 aisle, the aisle that says 10 items or less. Yes, I have 15 items, but I'm 9 months pregnant and I can't stand up for long.
Okay, pause it. Okay. So we start off. We start off there, right? We start off there.
10 items or less. Yes, I have 15.
I have 15 items.
Oh my God.
Okay. So
Yes, I have 15 items.
So you already started off the bat.
Right.
Like, because we all been there, right?
Yes.
Like that is one of the things that annoys me.
It's the
to no end.
selfishness.
Right.
Like, people don't get how selfish they can be.
Yeah, and I get that, and of course, like if she's really devastated because this dude, went in there and he said like this big white man scared her and said you're racist and you need to go back. I mean, you're ignorant. You need to go back where you came from. Like, she's upset about that.
Right.
Like, should he have done that? No, but is it annoying when you see people?
Hell yeah.
Yes.
And not only it's a privilege in its own. Like,
right,
dude.
You're not being.
You
you're
feel
not,
privileged
you're
to
not
be able
being,
to say,
you're not.
I'm still gonna go through
Right,
this.
and we talk about this all the time. Like certain environments that you're in, certain mentalities where people just don't care. They just think that what I need right now is more important. I wish somebody would say something to me.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And we like simple stuff like you talk about people that will park in your driveway. You know what I mean? Because they just, I wish somebody would. Like they don't give a shit. There's those people that don't. Yeah, there's certain people that just don't care.
Right.
Like they will.
Because that mentality, and it's not even. The thing is, they know better, but them knowing better, it doesn't weigh more than them wanting to do whatever they want to do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then in the moment they're thinking, if somebody says something to me, they already got the answers all worked out. Yeah. So like, this is kind of when I watched this, that was the first thing that struck to me. Like, you already admitted that you was being selfish. Like, and I get it. Like, you don't deserve to be.
Before
berated.
we get into it, it's like, wait a minute.
Right.
And she knows because she wouldn't have said that.
She wouldn't have said it because, All right, let's continue with this.
This white man comes up to me and says, "You lazy son of a bitch." He says, "You lazy son of a bitch. You need to go back where you came from." And he says that. I said, "Sir, you don't even know me. I'm not lazy. I'm 9 months pregnant." He says, "You're ignorant. You're ignorant." And I'm not. And it hurt me so bad. I'm sorry, y'all, because everything in me wanted to just tell him who I am.
Okay, let's pause that for a second. Now, let's be real. Does this woman strike you as someone that would not tell him exactly what she thinks in the moment of this going on?
Real?
Like just the way she's framing it. Yeah. She's not telling the whole story, right? Yeah. Like, she's not. What was that? So, was that your ear?
I don't know.
When because you went kind of close to the mic. That was weird.
Yeah, it's feedback.
But so it's like she's like, as soon as she comes out with her mouth where he's like, "You're ignorant, and why don't you go back where you came from?" I was like, it kind of like made me think of Jussie Smollett again, right? Like my brain automatically went to Jussie Smollett and went to the other. Remember the clip of the lady? I have this clip, I think, by the way, that I want to play later because it's in reference to. Remember the lady that did a live stream and she was crying because a cop pulled her over and he threatened to drag her out of her car and he was being racist, and then they released the body cam footage and it was nothing like what she said. You know what I mean? Yeah. It reminded me of that because she's being overly emotional for something. There's like, it hurts you so bad that he said that to you that you're crying to do a live stream now. It sounds like you're
so I guess we have some video because you're over here.
Oh, it's coming. Okay. No, we don't have. They haven't released the surveillance video from the thing yet, but it does get good. Okay. It does get good. Okay. So let's keep watching.
But I couldn't get anything out. I could just tell him, please leave me alone.
She couldn't
please.
get anything out. Please
and
just
my
leave
child
me alone.
is just sitting right there.
Just leave me alone.
He said, "Mama, why would he call you that? Why would he do that?"
I know his. What was it? Her son?
Her daughter hated his heart. And what he didn't even know is that my daughter had 5 items that she wanted to buy herself. So I really didn't even have that many items. Even if I did.
Exactly. Okay, let's pause it again real quick. So, how many of us know that trick? Okay, when you're going into the 10 item or less line and you got more than 10 items, the person you brought with you, you say, you buy these and I'll buy these. That way we're not breaking the rules, right? Like, so she's acting like her daughter was going to buy the 5 items. So she really only had 10 items.
What's funny though is that like if you go into Acme or ShopRite, they usually have a 10 item or less and then a 15 to 20 item or less.
Yeah.
Express.
Right.
One or two more I'm okay with, but like when you have like 5 or 10 extra items is pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Can you turn down mine because it's way too loud for me?
Okay. Yeah, so she's laying out this whole story where she's super victimized, and it plays right into the narrative of go back where you came from. And she's gonna, like, now she's trending on Twitter. She's getting.
So this is Erica?
This is Erica.
Okay.
This is the Erica that everyone stands with because of this video. This is what prompted the I Stand With Erica hashtag, because everyone jumped on this. News stories started posting it. Every news outlet ran with this. It was on the banner of Twitter when I opened it up. You know what I mean? It was on the banner. Because you know why? Because she's a Georgia legislator. She's a congresswoman or something.
Check.
For like a small district. And it was funny because we were just in Georgia, and we come back, and then it's like, yo, we just left there.
She can't be a congresswoman.
Maybe I don't know.
She's like a local.
She's got to be a representative of like
I think she's just a small district representative.
Yeah, kind of like our cousin down there. He's
who?
Antonio.
Oh, is he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he got elected.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's what
made it seem shady to me.
What is the feedback coming from?
Oh,
that is your ears. Your ears are loud, dude. Your ears got to be really loud.
Yeah.
Is he number 2?
Well, they were out. This one was out.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, seems shady to me.
But this is what I want to talk about, because when you have set up an environment, turn it up a little bit more now.
No, down.
Oh, you sure he's 2?
I think so.
I think he's 3.
I'm completely off.
Yeah, I think he's 3.
Check.
Yeah.
Check. Yeah. Now I'm loud. Down. Cool. Well.
Cool. That's good.
So I think, like, we talked about this before in previous podcasts, but when you create an atmosphere of where if you can somehow attach yourself to some type of like current story of victimhood, you will be catapulted into the spotlight. And
Right.
for a representative that's a politician that's looking to get reelected, this is like a perfect scenario. So, I mean, like, if something happened where she was confronted in the grocery store, it benefits her to embellish it a little bit and make it into this whole thing where he told her to go back where she came from. You know what I mean? And she's making it into like this, you know, this white man approached me and he told me this.
Right. The thing, like, if it was me and I go into a line where I know I should not be going,
Right.
I'm automatically going to be like, whatever somebody has to say, I'm like, yeah, my bad. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
right.
I was like, I shouldn't have did that. You know, because I already know. And
Right.
if he calls me ignorant, I'm just going to have to eat it.
Right.
Because it's
Because
an
you
ignorant
know
move.
you know
But
you did
I
a
wouldn't
selfish
do
move.
that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You know you did a selfish move, so you eat what comes with it.
Right.
But someone that is gonna go up to someone and say, well, you know, she claims, she said, why would you say that to me? I'm 9 months pregnant. You know, that's her whole defense. And you'll see
Yeah.
through the thread of all of this that we're going to go through, that's what she keeps leaning on. She leans on that she's black, that she's a woman, and she's pregnant. And these are the reasons why no one should ever say anything to her. You know what I mean?
Victim.
But let's keep going with this, Rach. Thanks.
It was just a really.
She's devastated, bro.
You
She
ain't
can't
gonna tell
even.
me I can even go back from where I came from, and that I'm ignorant, and that I am a son of a bitch. I'm in Publix trying to buy groceries. I don't understand it. Like, why are you so angry at me? You don't even know me.
I'll start with your name and last name.
Okay, let's pause it there. So, this is the next part of the video. We're going to get into this now. So, of course, after this and all the outrage and the
That's the white man.
yeah, and the hashtag and everything's trending, the news stories. She's now going to go to Publix and do a press conference and get her, you know, story told, and she's going to be on the news and all the news stations are there.
Right.
It just so happens that dude was there because he found out about it through the internet. And one of his friends called him like, yo, did this happen to you at Publix? And he was like, what? So he went up there to talk to management to get the surveillance footage because he's totally like, that didn't happen. You know what I mean? So he's there when they're all scheduled to be there. And then all of a sudden, the cameras find out that that's the guy, and they start interviewing him before she gets there. So this whole sequence that you're about to see is them like getting his side of the story, and then she shows up and tries to shut it down. And then you start seeing like what really, like you start seeing her real character.
Right,
like you'll
right.
see, it's not the scared. And first of all, this dude is a tiny man. Okay, like super beta, super gamma, super like. And
Damn, Jay.
no, he is though. He is like you'll see when she's next to him, she towers over him. You know what I mean? She towers over him.
He ain't right.
So and then on top of that, what's up, Jess? And then on top of that, they dug up information on this dude, and you know, because right after this, he found out that this was happening. So he was like, wait a minute, like this doesn't make no sense because they find the dude is actually Cuban.
Okay.
And he's a super Democrat.
And he does not
hates
like
Trump.
Trump.
He hates Trump. No, you're good. You can walk back there.
Don't knock anything.
Don't touch nothing, though. Yeah, because you mess us up. So he hates Trump. Okay. And like, matter of fact, I'm gonna show y'all this because just like before that, people went on his page and found out that this dude was actually writing stuff about what happened with the congresswoman and saying, you know, Trump is racist and I'm tired of these racist people. And hold on, I'm gonna see if I can find it so I can read his exact words about that, which is like when the story started all falling apart. Let me see.
He was writing about her and the situation that just
No,
happened.
he was writing about what happened last week, saying that he was saying like he's not following.
I forgot she wasn't a congresswoman.
Not only that, it's before it happened. That's the proof.
Yeah, I thought I had his tweets on here. I don't. So so one of his tweets was, or it was on his Facebook page. He's not on Twitter. So like he had a Facebook post saying like, how could he say that Trump needs to go back to Germany because he's a Nazi, and like telling anyone to go back where they came from is disgusting. I'm tired of this racist stuff. Like, so he's referencing that exact term that he's being accused now of using. Okay. This dude is a social justice warrior. Like, he's that bad. Wow. So now it's funny because now the social justice is coming back.
Flipped on you.
It's coming back to get his ass.
Flipped on you because you're not black.
Right, exactly.
Nah.
But
So
he claims he's not white. He's claiming he's not white.
But he looks white.
Exactly.
He's
so
a
that's
white
where
Cuban.
that's where she went wrong, because she assumed that white man telling me this, automatic Trump supporter, automatic racist, I can get away with this.
That's why he got that Miami shirt on.
So then let's go into what happens when they finally talk to him and get his side of the story.
SPARKES.
Okay, and tell me what happened on Friday in public.
This woman was in the express lane that says 10 items or less, 2 other lanes completely free, open. I go pay for my 3 items in one of the other lanes. It frustrated me to see her there with that many items in her
social justice warrior.
So
it's so frustrating.
I went to the 2 of the cash or customer associates of Publix and talked to them by the front door. And I asked them, is there anything that could be done, so on and so on. She goes, well, it's not Publix policy. We're not allowed to confront any customers about the express lane. She goes, well, the customer came. So I thought about it for a second, almost walked out, walked back in, went up to the lady, which I did not know her name, did not know her stature as a state legislature or anything, and asked her.
Sir, you don't get a spotlight.
Here she comes.
Anything at all. Because you degraded me.
Look how she towers over him.
Wow.
You know it's on camera, right?
This is the man that just scared her.
She's showing it right there.
Exactly.
Right.
You see how she's pointing in his face and approaching him? You mean to tell me she didn't do this to him in the store?
You are going to jail. And
Show
this speaks for every...
Going to jail?
I'm showing myself. This speaks for every black, brown, and any woman
should she
that's
be
out there
running
that's 9 months
anything?
pregnant,
Right.
And a white man comes up to you and calls you a son of... I don't care what
Does
you
she have
are.
a blessed shirt on?
If anybody comes up to you and calls you a son of an, I am basically
Blessed
a man
mom.
that degraded me and berated me, and I'm not crying. No, I'm not. I'm standing right in front of you. And if you know how you made me feel yesterday, if you know how you made my daughter feel,
Back off before I call the police.
call the police right now. Because
Okay,
they are
pause real
looking
quick.
for you.
I just have to make this comment real quick. If you want to convince people that you're not white, saying back off before I call the police is not a good move. Like, that is a total white dude's thing to say. Like, yo,
she is. That's how I assume.
Exactly, right?
I'm sorry to be.
Come on.
Judgy or whatever you want to say.
So now seeing that reaction, this is her walking up and seeing that they're actually interviewing this guy. So seeing that reaction, you know for a fact that she didn't just, sir, why are you saying this to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was not the approach. All right, let's continue.
For you. It's okay. I am so happy that you're here. And I'm happy that everybody needs to see this man that did this to me. And he thinks that he gets a 5 minutes of fame. You think that you're going to come up when you see police, when you see SB 46, you think you're going to come up here and get a spotlight?
So she just said the police were looking for him, but the police are there.
Everybody needs to see the man that did this to a woman that's 9 months pregnant.
Are you a state legislator?
Thank you. Nobody is here for you.
Are you a state
Nobody is here for
legislator?
you. Thank you. We can see my.
So she's pissed that he's stealing the spotlight she was supposed to get.
Yep.
How do you guys want to handle it?
We want to hear from both of you. Yeah, we want to hear both.
The news is like, oh, this is too good, man. We need both of y'all.
So wait, so she won't even let him say
This is conference, right?
Right,
He
right.
just happened to be there.
But they're trying to get his side, but I'm saying.
Right.
But now she's not going to let him talk.
No, she does because
Okay.
she can't stop it because he's like, all right, well, what do you want us to do? The news is like, we want to hear from both of y'all, of course.
I just heard.
So what her next move is like, if y'all want to talk to him, then fine. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so then they get his whole story. Watch.
I'm a liar about what?
Everything that happened.
Do you feel bad?
Be telling
Talking
me
about your
where
new
you
state
came
right
from.
now,
Do you
Junior.
feel bad about
Junior.
yesterday?
Did I say that?
Yes, you. Were you serious? Or you didn't say
Did I
anything?
say
What did you say to me then?
Is it on video?
What did you say to me?
I called you a lazy bitch.
Okay, that's all
the
you
worst
did.
thing I said.
That's all you said to me?
Yes.
Okay, because that makes you look better because everybody's asking you that. That makes you look better to say that.
I I know what I
It's
said.
okay. It's all
The
right.
video
though.
knows what I said.
Okay, yeah, they all see it. They all see that you left out of the grocery store and came back.
I
in
didn't
and paraded
leave. I
there.
took one step out.
At the end of the day,
No
you know
one
what?
kicked me out.
I'll let you have your 5 minutes
Am I
of fame.
banned from Publix?
I'll let you have your 5 minutes of fame.
You got
Have your
yours?
5 minutes of fame.
You got
There
yours.
you are. You know what? Thank you. Congratulations. What's your name?
Eric Spark.
I'd like to shake your hand.
No, you're not.
I'd like to shake your hand.
Go away.
Go ahead,
He said,
Eric.
"Go
Sparks.
away."
I want him to get his 5 minutes of fame. Go ahead and get your 5 minutes of fame, Eric. And I'm facing you right now, and I'm calm, and I'm fine, because guess what? I am okay, because God is with me. I'm a blessed mama.
Here, I'm going to straighten
Go
this
ahead.
out. I want the reporters to ask me questions.
Go ahead, ask me what.
I want individual
Eric
questions.
ain't playing right now. He's like, we gonna get to the facts here, people.
Okay, this reporter already asked me that. I have a statement that I sent to WSB TV already to Lauren Posen.
That's me as well. Can you
Okay,
just
you're
tell us-
Lauren Posen?
I'm Lauren's colleague.
Okay. I sent an email statement to Lauren already. That is my statement to WSB TV. That's exactly what happened.
Can you tell us on camera what happened?
I walked into Publix, bought my 3 items. There were 3 checkout lanes, one was an express. The other 2 were empty. I kept my tongue shut. I walked and paid for my items and went in empty lanes. This lady I noticed had about 20 items on the conveyor. Okay? I walked up to the 2 customer service associates from Publix, asked them what can be done in a nice manner.
He
They
really
said,
cares about this so
"Corporate
much.
policy,
I would've
you
just
can't
let it
do
go."
anything.
But see, that's a
That
social
is,
justice. Like that's the
dude,
problem.
He
Like,
is on her. He is on her side. He's the
Yeah.
SJW Democrat to the fullest.
I said, ma'am, not to be rude, my exact first words, pointing at the sign, which shows it on the surveillance camera, which I've seen already. Pointing at the sign, 10 items or less. She berates me after that. I don't remember exactly
That
what
sounds
she
more
said,
accurate.
But on camera,
That's
she
exactly what she
approached
did
me,
when she came up.
came towards me as I took a couple steps back. She said a few words. I do not recall exactly what those words were. I said, "You're selfish." She did mention she's 9 months pregnant. I said, "It doesn't matter in this case. It has no point on this case. There's 2 empty lines. You don't need to be in express lane." Then I stated, she said a few words. I stated, "Well, you're selfish little bitch." I did say that. That's all I said after that, and I walked out of Publix.
Okay, pause.
Her
real quick.
words stating on Twitter.
So the fact that this dude is willing to admit that he even said that is like a little more credibility than the fact that she's trying to paint this picture like she did nothing wrong. You know what I mean?
And he's an annoying dude that can't let stuff go.
Exactly. Like the
you
dude,
gotta go to Publix.
He said there was 2 open lines. It's not like it held him up. There was 2 other
Right.
open lanes
Yeah,
that he went through.
he went through,
but he
yeah.
saw her with more items, and he couldn't let that shit go.
So
he's like,
it's a bunch of nonsense on both sides.
Yeah.
I also love how the store was like, well, we can't confront anyone.
Yeah, but you can. Right. And how many of us know that Publix is going to have them express lanes full of people now because they know that it's store policy. They can't say nothing to you. You know what I mean? Like, this is on the record now. But yeah, they told him that company policy is we can't say anything, sir, but the customers can. And he said, I'm gonna say something. That's where it all went wrong.
It's my job.
I can't stand for this. Yeah. So it's not. This is the thing. Like, if her story had been that this dude cursed me out because I had, and he male privilege and patriarchy, I think that would have been a better story. But trying to play the race card in this scenario is where you go wrong, because it's really about a dude that
She said he said go back to where you came from.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe he was telling her, go back to the regular line. Maybe that's what he was telling her. You need to go back to the line that you're supposed to be at. All right, let's keep going.
Her video.
Because there's so much more.
I told her she needs to go back where she came from. Or untrue. I am Cuban. I am not white. I am white, but I am Cuban. I was raised with a Cuban grandmother that didn't speak any English. In the late 60s and 70s, I felt racism and prejudice. I'm not playing the victim. This woman, Miss Thomas, is playing the victim for political purposes because she's a state legislator. I'm a Democrat, number 1. I vote Democrat party line. Number 2, that proven facts can be proven.
And this one,
so that makes you righteous. Huh?
But no, what he's saying is like, He's trying to prove that it's not about him being a Trump supporter, because that's what they immediately attach him to. And he made his Facebook page public after this so that people could see his history of the stuff that he posted.
But the thing is, if he was a Trump supporter, so that automatically, like, you understand what I'm saying? Like,
no, what I think, because people associate Trump supporters with racists, but Democrats aren't racist.
Which is wrong.
Right.
Which is messed
so
up.
So he's
anyway.
trying to show that I'm a Democrat, so how could I be racist? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say.
But no one believes that. There's racist Democrats, you know what I mean?
Right.
But he's trying to, what he's claiming is that I'm Cuban, I'm not white. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm white, but I'm Cuban.
But I'm Cuban, yeah.
So, again, it's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, all of it, all around.
Mm-hmm.
All across the board.
But the fact that, it's the fact that the media
they picked it
jumps
up.
on this and pushes it in our faces for days before they get any of the facts.
They don't, exactly. They hear any credibility.
They hear her live stream. This happens all the time. Like I said, with the other story, with the woman, with the cop. There's another story that I posted up in there. There's an article. The president of the NAACP in South Carolina was tweeting about how he got racially profiled because he got pulled over and got a ticket. You know what I mean? Like he was complaining about that. I just got racially profiled. This has got to stop. And body camera footage comes out. None of that happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like. But people are so quick to do that because the media will jump on that story because it makes money for them. You know what I mean? Outrage is what's selling right now.
I mean, you go back to the Squad and who's backing them.
Right.
You know, you can go deep down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah,
in terms
absolutely.
of who's backing them. But it's just funny how it's an Arab, Hispanic, a black, and a Muslim.
Right.
You know, you have all these. It's like literally a design to be like Trump's racist. Look at all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As we attack Trump.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're all women too.
Right? And they're
it's
all
like they
women.
have to cover the identity spectrum
everything.
so that we can, you know.
Right. And that's where they're getting their power from. It's a false power because it's literally like keeping people attracted to it's like watching Love and Hip Hop or one of those shows. Mm-hmm. You know, people don't watch it because you know they're gonna learn something from it. They watch it
for the drama.
They like seeing chaos.
Yeah, for the drama, and that's what they're watching these people for.
Right.
It's for the drama. It's for the chaos. And
so when
he said that,
they see a story like that,
not only that, they want to judge it.
Right.
Yeah. They want to judge.
Well, it shows.
They want to put judgment on everybody. They want to show people are racist. You know what I mean? They want to
prove
fulfill
because they
hurt inside of themselves.
They have to prove it at every turn that there's so much racism out there.
Right.
That they
because if that woman wasn't so hurt, even if he did say that stuff, why does it affect you that bad?
Right.
Why does it affect you that bad? Because you're already hurt.
Right.
And instead of dealing with that, you want to point the finger at everybody else. Like, it's not going to affect me if somebody calls me whatever they call me.
Right.
Because I know who I am.
It's not going to ruin your day.
No.
And you got to do a live stream crying on Twitter. You know what I mean? But let's continue.
Anti-Trump, anti-Republican, anti-racism, anti-bigotry. This lady does not know me. She's using this to get on camera for her political purposes without contacting me or to find out what my name was. I found all this out an hour ago through a friend that's on Twitter that asked me, is this what happened at Publix yesterday? And showed me the video, and it was Miss Thomas. And I was aghast. That is not me. My
He was
friends
aghast,
stand
guys.
by me and tell me I am not racist. You can look at all my posts, everything. I will defend myself to the core.
And I think she's standing
For
there
this
now
lady,
thinking like, uh-oh.
All political purposes.
Yeah, because she backtracks.
Is doing this for her own personal gain. Period. That's my statement.
You never said anything that sounded at all like go back to her.
Never.
Never.
Period.
I think there were some other statements that she said that
The worst thing I said was, you're a selfish little bitch. Selfish.
Yeah, that's from a man that
I might
can't let
regret
go.
saying that. For her to be confronting me after trying to get point out you're in the 10 express lane and saying I don't give a crap. She didn't give a crap. As a human being in this legislature, We need
That
humans.
sounds about
to
right. I don't
represent
give a
us,
crap. I'm 9 months pregnant.
that will stand up for the little person and not be
I don't
selfish
stand up for the little
and not
people.
park
I'm
out.
9 months pregnant.
and
I'm
not
9
park-
months pregnant.
Does that mean
And
you need
told
to
me
express
that
lane?
It doesn't mean anything.
Does that mean
And
you
know
need to get
what?
an express lane?
I had 11 items. I had 11
You have
items.
more than that.
Now she had
You know what?
11
I
items.
Yeah, she
had-
said she had
I
15.
Yeah, now she had 11.
Show it.
But you know what?
AKA 20.
If I had any items,
You had at least
you
20.
cannot tell a pregnant, 9 months pregnant woman.
Did I know you were pregnant?
I told you that. I told you I was
After you
pregnant,
took 2
and you
steps towards
said,
me.
I don't care, you're a lazy son of a bitch. That's what you said.
I said the lazy part. I didn't say son of a bitch.
Did he not
Number
just say he said son of a bitch?
I
What did
said
he say?
lazy.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to my car. I'm going to
Said
sit
lazy
down.
bitch.
If you
Yeah.
want to
You're
have
not
this
paying
5 minutes the
attention.
same, at the end of the
How
day,
are you
the
allowed
only reason why this man is
Look,
doing this.
oh, you missed the clapping. The clapping just happened.
Everybody's calling you out on your stuff. And so now you're here.
Look, does this look like a woman that is really scared for her life from this guy?
No.
Because she goes on later to say she feared for her life.
Dude,
You'll
she's
see.
about a foot taller than
That's
him.
what I said. She towers over this guy.
I wasn't a state representative, and the news didn't get this. He would get away with calling me what he called me, saying what he said, and berating me and my 9-year-old child.
I didn't berate your 9-year-old
Anyway,
child.
that
Wait,
was
so
standing right
You're
there.
the one
I
that
thought her
confronted
9-year-old
me.
child was old enough to pay for those groceries.
Yeah, right.
Man,
I don't
after
want
I
to take
pointed
this.
it out.
Y'all can
That's
finish
hilarious.
with
You're
him.
taking no responsibility.
Y'all can finish with him. Obviously, he admitted to whatever he wanted to admit to. Everybody's after him, and now this is where we're at. So at the end of the day, I'm
wanna see
going to
the,
sit in my car, and
the
then when
camera
you all are
footage.
done with him, in his
I
5
know.
minutes,
It hasn't
now
been
that
released
you're
yet.
ready,
With yourself.
yes, I
I was
am very
looking.
happy with myself for standing up for black and brown people all across
Black-
the nation.
look, those are the
and
trigger words.
women,
Black and brown
pregnant
people, women,
and
pregnant women.
women all across the nation. You can say whatever
Am I
you think
considered
about
brown?
Black race, I don't care.
You don't
Yes,
care.
you are. You are
the
considered
point
brown.
is, I'm standing up
You
for
care
don't have
about
to stand up
yourself.
for me.
You feel stood up for?
Yeah,
That's it.
I'm selfish son of a bee, right?
I don't need to be
You
stood
are.
up for.
See? Thank you.
You care about yourself and your legislative, your political career. That's all you care about. Thank you.
She had said that you made comments too about her people being lazy, something like
No,
that.
no. It was only about
This dude
her
is denying
personally.
all of the racist parts of this. Like that's
I
what
never said her
made it
people,
like.
your
And then you'll
people.
see right after this clip what it goes into. Go ahead.
At all. I'm Hispanic. I don't care what she thinks. She's doing it for political purposes, period. Like I said
Hispanic,
earlier,
guys.
I'm a Democrat. I will vote Democrat the rest of my life. Okay? So to call me what she
kinda
wants to
stupid.
believe
Okay.
for her political purposes, to make it black, white, brown, or whatever, is so untrue.
Have you ever been called a racist before?
Never. There's no reason. I don't use those terms. Never have used those terms. I'm disgusted with those terms.
You admit you called her the B word. Is that?
I called her a lazy little, the exact words, lazy little B-I-T-C-H.
Is that appropriate to say to a woman with a child?
I did it. Listen, number one, because of the way she reacted to me after I confronted her about being in that aisle, in that lane, her reaction to me was, if the video will show.
How much you want? She was cursing him out.
Yeah, you know she was. The way she came up.
Yep.
He
Oh
says
my
his video
goodness.
shows her taking steps towards me.
Look, the video shows her taking steps towards him.
I'm going to go confront her. Why?
Then I'm tired of rudeness.
Look,
I'm tired of selfishness.
This is his
and rudeness.
reason.
It's no different than someone parking in front of Publix, not to use the ATM. They'll leave their car, they'll run into Publix, purchase whatever they need, and run back to their car. If we all do not stand up to people that are rude, it just keeps continuing and continuing and continuing through our society. That was my only motivation, is that it has to stop. And if I could take care of one person nicely like I did at first,
But see, that's
kindly,
what happens when you do
say,
that,
man, you know,
sir.
it's rude, you're in a 10 item and blah, blah, blah. That was it. And if she blew it out of proportion, just like
See,
she
that's the
has
problem.
all day
know
today.
how to
whenever
mind your
this
own
started,
business.
Twitter stuff started. Yes, I don't like using foul language. It's not me. But people need to understand that this woman, Miss Thomas, for political purposes, and I'd probably vote for her if she was in my district, just because she's a Democrat. I probably did vote for her if she is in my district.
how hilarious would that be if he
What were
voted
his
for her?
exact
Like
words
if they
as
find
far
out that he
as,
voted for her.
That would be funny.
Look, okay, let's pause here. Let's pause here.
Exact word.
Okay. Take it back to the beginning of where she's about to talk right here, because I want you guys to hear. So now we're in the moment now where she left. Now they want to talk to her. After all that went down, she listened to everything he had to say, and she said, "Uh-oh."
Hold on, time out. Can I just say something?
Yeah.
her shirt, man. That was completely planned.
Of course.
Like,
of course.
This is all staged. You can't. It's so obvious.
I want to point out, and someone there's a clip after this of her doing an interview at a radio show where someone calls in and asks the same question that I was thinking this whole time. It's like, you were 9 months pregnant and couldn't stand on your feet long, so you had to go through the express checkout line, but you've been standing up for about 45 minutes waiting to talk in front of all these cameras. So it's like, I thought you couldn't stand up. And then someone asked her that at the radio interview. But anyway, all right, let's see. So they ask her.
That was my only motivation, is that it has to stop. And if I could take care of one person nicely like I did at first, kindly say, ma'am, you know it's rude, you're in a 10 item and blah, blah, blah. That was it. And if she blew it out of proportion, just like she has all day today, whenever this started, this Twitter stuff started. Yes, I don't like using foul language. It's not me. But people need to understand that this woman, Miss Thomas, for political purposes, and I'd probably vote for her if she was in my district, just because she's a Democrat. I probably did vote for her
right here.
if she is in my district.
What were his exact words as far as go back to where you came from? He said those exact words.
Well, like I said, I mean, like I know what I don't know what he said. He said go back, those types of words. I don't want to say he said go back to your country or go back to where you came from, but he was making those types of references as well.
So now she don't know exactly what he said.
No, definitely not. But I know it was go back because I know.
And then she said, "Do you remember his exact words?" No, definitely not.
And I said, go, go, go.
He said that.
She's lying.
Straight up lying.
You know what? I don't know.
Go.
You know, and that makes it even a worse ordeal. You know, so if he did vote for me or if he didn't, people will say he'll say anything at this point in time to get the heat off of him. So if he voted for me, thank you for your vote, sir. But I still would like an apology that you cannot give me.
I thought that was hilarious. I would like an apology that you cannot give me. And then she,
so you don't,
because
you really don't want an
she
apology.
like thought in the moment, like she's like, I want an apology. Wait, no, I don't. I want more than an apology. So let me keep going with that. That you cannot give me. So now I'm going to sue you. That's basically. I want you to go to jail.
You having issues?
Yeah.
Pinwheel.
Internet is a little slow for a second.
Man. Internet.
So good.
So I mean, we're basically at the end of it, right?
There's a little bit more because there's certain stuff that her lawyer says, certain stuff that she says in the interview.
All right, let's see.
You still have assaulted me, and there.
She says he assaulted her.
Okay.
So she, I guess, verbally.
Yeah. So,
but they just leave that out.
But in the radio interview, what I was going to show y'all is that like it gets to. Because they were like, well, what would you want to see done? And there was something about some type of like verbal assault bill that she's trying to get passed. And it's like, okay.
You're making it obvious.
I see what's going on here.
Being assaulted.
And
Brian?
It's going against freedom of speech.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning.
Internet's tripping on us.
Mm-hmm.
Tripping.
It was working so well at first. Well, anyway, you get the gist.
Yeah.
It was like this huge.
That's off.
This was like the biggest story over the weekend, and
we were in Atlanta.
Yeah, we were there for when all that went down. But I started like researching. I'm like, this sounds like, and then eventually another hashtag started trending right underneath her story, which was hate hoax. And when you go in there, it was all people breaking down how she's lying, showing all the clips, showing that clip of her backtracking after that, and like showing his Facebook posts, and like the fact that this dude is like actually a Democrat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Brian.
Hey, Frank, good morning. So my question to Ms. Thomas is, what exactly was said to you? Because I'm very...
Sorry, guys. Tried.
Okay.
It's all right.
Well, we tried. It was going so good. Yeah. So that reason why I put that caller on there is because he asked her, like, there's a lot of discrepancies in what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, what exactly did he say to you? Because at first you said he said go back where you came from. Then you said, you know, she really has no answer for it.
Right.
And by the end, she did a press conference yesterday, and her lawyer at the end is focusing mainly on the fact that he admitted to calling her a bitch. You know what I mean? And like that, the fact that he said that is the problem. Like, he totally did not even mention to go back where you came. Like, it's like they're kind of like moving the goalposts now,
right.
Where it's like you cannot say this, and it's hilarious because he's like the typical like black dude with a bow tie, you know what I mean? Equivocating the story that
I'm
my
trying
client.
one more time here because I just switched the internet up. So let's see
Okay,
if we can
we'll see if it works.
You have very contradicting statements. And the man clearly told you that he's not Caucasian, he is Cuban. So that my question, what exactly was said to you? Because I'm here to support you. And I think the black community is here to support you, but we don't want to run somebody that is race baiting. So help us out here. Clarify, please.
Go right ahead. He said he basically is asking what was really said to you, and that he basically said the guy is Cuban, so he's not white. But that's a whole nother conversation. What was it that was said?
Yeah, that's very crazy to me for someone to say, you know, he's Cuban. I don't know what that says. Hate is everywhere. But at the end of the day, he called me what he said he called me, and I don't even have to repeat it because he said that he called me that. And then I said, you don't know me. You do not know me. And
what about the fact that he said you came up to him?
How can he say that I came up to him and he left out the grocery store and came up back to me? The only thing that he can say that when I was talking to him is I was pointing at the door, and after he said you go back to where I told him no, you go back, and it's clearly on the line. And I asked him why would he say that? But just to run through just to be clear, and let's run through what happened. He came up to me. He said, you know, you have 20 items in a 10-item lane. And I said, I'm sorry, sir. I am 9 months pregnant and I can't stand for long. Then he said to me that, no, you're a lazy SOB. That's what you are. And I looked like, what? You don't even know me. You do not even know me. How can you say something like that? Then he told me that I was ignorant. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, you people are ignorant. That's when he said, you go back where you came from. That is why I said on camera, and never backtracked anything that I said. I said on camera that, yes, he made references to going back where you came from. Because before he said go back where you came from, he said you're ignorant. You people are ignorant. So that to me, that means when you say who's around me, you talking about me and my daughter, or are you talking about me as a black woman? And that's how I felt. And so that was my statement.
Lana, go ahead with your comment.
My question is, if she was a white woman, then she
Thank you.
This was the race thing.
Would he have even been concerned if she was white?
Right, exactly. Thank you for your call.
Victoria from Atlanta, what do you think?
Great statement. Thank you.
I like the representative, but I want to say two things. Number one, if she had more than 10 items, she shouldn't have been in that line. And the second thing is, she said that she's 9 months pregnant and she could not stand. She stood outside for maybe 20, 30 minutes arguing with the man on camera. So she couldn't have been that distressed. So I don't think that's fair. I mean, let's be fair. You shouldn't be in that line whether you're pregnant or not if you have more than 10 items. And in her Facebook post, she said, I have 15 items. Now she's saying I had 12 and my daughter had 3.
What do you say to that, Erica?
Because for one, I was upset, and just like, exactly that's what I assumed, that I had about 15 items. The point was that I was admitting that I had more than 10 items.
Slaves for civil rights. We're going to do that, and that's called social justice.
Erica, being a state representative, you know,
this is what it all boils down to.
The ramifications that he may have to face. Being a state rep, is there anything that you want to push forward on the agenda in your position?
The hate crime bill. I feel like we passed it in the House and it got stalled in the Senate. But if we had a hate crime law like a lot of other states have, we wouldn't even be trying to say what is this bill? What did he do? It's a hate crime. and I feel like that law definitely needs to be pushed, just like it is in a lot of other states.
This is the problem.
And to go back where you came from needs to be there in order for it to be a hate crime.
Whether it was because I was a black woman, you hated on me. You came up to me premeditated, just like the police officer said, premeditated, because you left out of the store and came back, and you said hateful words to me because you felt like this was your justice. This is what you did. Your law, your militia,
I was going to say the same thing to Junior.
Was to come
you want to
to
laugh
me
because you know
and
she
say
lying. That's why.
And then after that, he kept berating me and harassing me.
This is the press conference from yesterday. So what were you about to say?
No, I was just going to say, she's just saying, like, the issue. Like, you're trying to explain something, and then he's saying something else. You know, like, they're straight. How do you justify what a hate crime is? It's literally what she's justifying it based off of what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we justify a hate crime?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but that's the problem with the hate crime bill.
It's bullshit.
It's like, how do you... who determines which one is considered a crime? You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where it gets dicey.
There's no way to gauge that. Anyway.
All right, let's go. We're almost done with
and
this.
that's when I said, and you can see from when the cameras will be put out.
She keeps saying
public,
you can see this, but she's never seen the footage.
And after he said go back, I said, you go back. You go back. You go out of this grocery store.
I think she keeps saying that because it's going to show that she was being flagrant on the cameras. There's no audio. So she knows it's going to look like she was acting crazy, so she's trying to...
She just started saying this stuff.
No one said anything after that. No one said, are you okay? Do you need some water? Do you want me to, do you need some help?
No one
That's when I was upset. I started to tear up, but I was embarrassed. And I was scared for my life because, again, this man left out of the grocery store, came back in the grocery store just to tell me a piece of his mind. I don't know what he came back in with. I don't know any of those things. I was scared for my life.
But yet she approached
so at that moment, I called the police. Did I do it? I ran out of that store after I paid for my groceries. I didn't want to spoil my daughter's moment. I let her pay for her groceries.
Well, I fear for my life, but I let my daughter pay for her
card. I put it in the meter. She gave her back her card. She did what she had to do, and then we left. And I looked around outside. All I could say when I was outside, I said, "Hurry up, Coda, please. Let's get these groceries in. Let's get these groceries in." She was like, "Mom, why did he say that? Why did he do that to you? Why would he say those things? I don't understand what's going on." I'm like, "Coda, just get in the car," not knowing if this man is still in the parking lot, if this man is still trying.
You got a 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Are you letting your daughter pay for stuff?
No.
You got a 9-year-old
with cash,
daughter.
maybe.
How does your daughter pay for stuff? With your money, right?
Right.
So obviously she gave her
exactly.
Her card.
That's the whole
like,
thing.
Come on.
Like, that's why I said we all know that game. You know what I mean?
This is a prideful person,
right? And she doesn't want. Who's not going to let go of the story? It's just like Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
He even after all of that came out and they let him go.
He had that press conference.
Still said that he's been exonerated. Like he felt like he told the truth.
You don't bring. It's false unity to bring people together in victimhood,
right?
It's
and that's
false
what I want.
unity
That's
and
what,
it's false power.
That's what we're getting at here.
You know?
But when you create the environment that Twitter, that social media creates, where it's like, if I can have my moment of victimhood, I can be famous. I can make money. I can have a whole career from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a
state legislator to congresswoman.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going. I want y'all to hear this.
I think the subtle manipulation is what stands out the most to me, right? Because that's like what we're dealing with every story, with everything that comes out like every hour. You're like, okay, I'm reading this article, and then I read it somewhere else, and it's slightly different.
The headlines
so everything
are all
is just slightly manipulated. But even her saying, you people are ignorant.
Yeah.
Did he say you are ignorant? Did he say you people are ignorant?
Right.
You people is totally different. Now I'm going to punch him in the face for being racist. If he said you're ignorant, I'm going to be like, well, you are kind of ignorant. So that subtle, like, trying to twist it is kind of like...
And I think that's what she did.
What exactly happened?
She took it and she said, all right, how can I wizard this up a little bit? She's engaging in manipulative witchcraft right there. It's like, how can I massage this story and to get more out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's like she didn't think that dude was gonna come, and like it's just this weird like star alignment where he was there.
Yep.
Trying to check on this story right when they decided to come and do this interview with her. So then everyone got his side. You know what I mean?
You know, those journalists were like, "This is the best day ever."
They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And it's hilarious. All right, so we're going to end this off.
Not knowing and fearing for my life. What I've seen all
she's
over
fearing
this
for her
country,
life.
where
I just
people
can't believe
have
that.
just taken justice upon themselves.
Well, wait till you hear
and
this
trying
lawyer.
to take justice on themselves.
Because he is
and
exactly
have
what
hurt
you
people,
expect when you hear
not
him
knowing what was going to happen to my life next. I got in that car and I left.
A clip that was released by a news company here in Atlanta that was not the full clip.
He's addressing the
but
clip
we want
of her
to clarify that at no point in the 14-minute interview did she ever equivocate in what happened. You can go watch the 14-minute clip.
You can't wear that bow tie and say equivocate.
You can
It
watch
just
everything,
doesn't.
and you will
can't
know
do it.
that she was berated as an African American female, called a B, and then the individual came back up, told the story again, equivocated in his story, and then told it again, and in that same press conference called her a B again. People are upset.
But you see how he
because of
stayed away
nature
from the
upon which
he
she
stayed
was
away
treated.
from the
She was
the whole
treated
go back where you came from story.
as an
That he
African
didn't mention that
American
all.
woman
As her lawyer,
by
he's like,
calling
I'm
her
not
the
getting
B
in that
word.
boat.
In our community, that is the worst
this is
thing
the
you
hell-
can call an African American woman.
That is
and
the most
for no one
hilarious
to
part
come
right
to
there.
her aid.
Pause it real quick.
That's appalling.
That is the most hilarious part to me right there, is when he says, because he's trying to amp up the fact that he called her a bitch because he admitted to that. So he's like, that is something that you just cannot call someone in our community.
That's what everyone calls.
Have you
Wait a
listened
minute.
to rap music?
That's exactly what I thought.
Because women call each other bitches now.
Yeah.
Like, what's up, bitch? Like,
Yo,
bitch, please. Come on. What world are we living in?
Exactly. But that's why first of all, you can't take that guy seriously at all when you're dressed like that. Come on, dude. Like, where did you go? What are you doing?
Junior said this drama is on steroid.
This is drama on steroids. Yeah,
No,
it
it's
is.
drama on
It is. It really is, man. This is like the world that we live in now, Junior. It's like people are
It's sickening.
They love this type of attention, so they're so quick to jump on these stories. This reminds me of the coveted Catholic kids. This reminds me of the Jussie Smollett story. This reminds me of same thing with the, like I said, the other stories. I don't know if you want to bring up.
It's so crazy that everything just aligned so right.
Yeah.
Like, he's not white.
Yeah.
He's Cuban.
He's Cuban. He's a Democrat.
Social
he hates Trump. He loves the squad. Loves the squad.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
she's like, "Ooh, I know how to get my career going."
Yeah. See if you can pull up the in that thread. There's a tweet. There's a thing about the tweets from. No, matter of fact, pull up the tweets from the journalist Zach Goldberg, because this is interesting. I saw this on Twitter, and this speaks into what we were talking about, because it's not all about like just control and wizardry. A lot of that is what it is, but it's mostly also about the fact that it's making money for them now. So this dude, Zach Goldberg, went through LexisNexis and started like tallying up the news stories. He talks about it there. And he starts looking up how much news, and does these graphs on how much news is talking about like racial issues, and does it by years. And you can see all of those spikes. Look at those spikes. Like, if you click on that first graph, look at that. And this is diversity and inclusion. And look where it starts to just shoot up.
Dang.
Look where it just starts to shoot up.
Yeah, like 2013, that's when it just really.
But look where it is now. It's like insane. And when you look, like, all of the graphs he looked up are like racism, all of these trigger words that we see now. And it's like the news is based off of using these whiteness. Look at this. It's funny how there was a little bump at like 2008 when Obama got elected. But yeah, you could see if you look that up on Twitter, Zach Goldberg, he has this thread where he goes through and lists all the charts that he found on those statistics, and it's kind of interesting to see that like the news is really creating this atmosphere. The news is the
news article.
White privilege. Like, look,
I went down a little bit.
But think about it. Like it just puts that mindset in people's mind all the time. Yeah. When you're hearing so much more stories about this stuff. You know what I mean?
Of course.
It's becoming more of a focus. And people will say, oh, that's just because the news is woke now. Diversity training. But, so let's go to, in that thread also, there was an article about Shaun King. And Shaun King is a Black Lives Matter activist. He's the guy, I don't know if you guys remember that he says he's black, but people are saying that he's actually white. Yeah. He has 2 white parents. It's like this whole controversy. So
he's a Bernie supporter. Yeah. Crazy Bernie supporter.
But he's super social justice, super lefty. Like he was just tweeting about the Antifa bombing, about how that was a good thing. The dude that bombed the detention facility, and how more people need to do stuff like that.
Wow. How was that
looking for is it the racially profiled story?
No. So let me see. I'll find it for you. I'll tell you what it says.
How is that a good thing? That's like Booker saying that he will walk migrants into the United States. You're supporting breaking the law, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
And he wants to be president.
Oh, I don't see it.
I don't think he's going to be president.
I don't see it on there. I got it. I got you, Rach. I got you. Yeah, so this article is about Shaun King. A few years ago was spreading this news story about this woman who...
Oh, yeah, the one in Texas that...
the one that accused a cop of groping her and raping her and kidnapping her.
Yeah.
And he was spreading this like it was actual like fact. And here, I found it. Send it to you right now. Okay, check now. Should be about him refusing to apologize, because after it all came out that like he was lying, or not that he was lying, that she was lying, he was like, he's a victim of her lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they doxed him.
No, I'm saying Shaun King said he was a victim of her lies because he was the one spreading it.
I'm talking about the cop.
Yeah, the cop. No, the cop got put through hell because of that. You see it?
Yeah, she's a victim. No, dude, you didn't look into it.
Yeah, you just spread it like it was a fact.
Yeah.
You put it on that thread?
Yep, it's right under the NAACP. Well, you could bring up the NAACP one for now.
Okay, wait a second. I see 2. One is a YouTube link, and then one is... Oh, no, I got it.
Got it?
Okay.
So this is more of it might be a Twitter thread, or it just might be an article that has his tweets in it. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, Shaun King. So these are his tweets. It goes in chronological order, and he's telling people there's a very important story about not only on the sexual assault of Sharita Dixon Cole, but on the mistreatment of black women by American police across the country, and why these stories are just not told widely enough. So he's basing this whole thing off of this story. This woman was kidnapped and raped by a Texas state trooper. Now imagine if you see this and you're like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? Cops are kidnapping and raping people?
Yeah.
So, okay, let's keep looking. Let's keep going down. Okay, keep scrolling down. He's going through, this is like his tweets about this story, on and on and on. And then at his very last one, keep going. I think it's this one here. Yeah. So this is when they released the body cam footage, and look what he says. After he makes these crazy claims, and he keeps telling people, this guy needs to be in jail, he raped her. Today, the Texas Department of Public Safety released the body camera footage of the traffic stop, field sobriety test, and subsequent arrest of Sharita Dixon Cole. It does not appear to show any verbal threats, sexual assault, or police brutality. Gee, thanks, Sean.
That's it.
That's all you get. Like,
That's all.
So you went on for months.
Not saying, I'm sorry.
No, exactly. And other news outlets ran with this story. Yeah. And you went on for months screaming about this dude kidnapped, raped, groped a woman, all because of a traffic stop.
Yeah.
And you believed her. And then it goes into the whole believe all women thing and why people have issues with that, because it's like, no, people make stuff up. They do to get out of stuff, to
abuse people.
Right.
They abuse the system. They abuse people who are abused by selfish people tend to become selfish.
Right.
People who are, we always talk about narcissism. It's the same thing. Narcissism is like hyper selfish.
Right.
A hyper selfish person.
And I think a lot of people don't even see narcissism anymore, because everything has kind of been narcissism has kind of been ingrained in us a little bit. Through the fact of needing to post stuff all the time, needing to get likes, needing to get, that's what narcissism is, needing something to fulfill you, like needing some focus on yourself, some attention on yourself.
Right.
And now we're in a world where it's like that's all everything is about.
And you see everything through that lens.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. That's why when the situation breaks out and someone's getting beat the hell up, people pull their phones out because they're like, oh, I'm gonna get a shit ton of likes out of this. They don't think, let me help. Let me.
That's not. That's crazy.
Yeah. People's first reaction is, "Ooh, this is gonna be great for my page."
Right.
It's narcissism. And a lot of times, it's like women getting beat up, and they just pull their phones out. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at now. That's what breeds these type of stories happening all the time, and people jumping on it. Because it gives them a cause. It gives them some sense of like, we're doing something. I stand with Erica.
Yeah,
why?
right.
You don't know if you should stand with Erica yet.
The thing that people always say, I will not be silenced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you don't see the pride in that you will not be silenced in some bullshit. Because most of the stuff they're saying is BS.
Yeah.
Like Rachel was just saying, like, they don't say, they take what they want and they manipulate it and they bring forth a story that sounds good, and then they say, I won't be silenced.
Right.
You know, like you're silenced. You are silenced because you're not telling the truth. You're not being honest.
Right.
So no, you're being prideful and bringing about what you want and then acting like it's false humility. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Straight up narcissism.
You're acting virtuous.
Right.
You're trying to show virtue.
It's a false virtue.
Right. It's manipulation.
Right.
It's manipulating people into think you're virtuous. Go ahead, Rich.
The bigger dangerous thing, though, like after the manipulations, though, and we always talk about this, how like there's no journalistic integrity.
Right.
And whatever comes out is one story, and before there's any verification or any like solid, concrete facts, multiple news sources are sharing it and just doing their thing.
Right.
Like, I just feel like back in the day, like if it weren't for music, like writing and journalism are like two things that I'm like very interested in.
Yeah.
And like back in the day, like if a story broke and there was supposed to be something written about it that night, or the paper was supposed to come out at 5 a.m., like journalists were running around with their notepads and their pencils, and they were knocking on doors and they were calling people, and it was a frantic, like, it mattered.
Yeah.
Like getting the story right and what actually happened mattered.
Right.
That doesn't, like, that's gone. Like,
all
as
about
long
clicks.
as it's a click,
Right.
it's good. It doesn't matter what it is.
And because then they just throw
and
up
then
a
later,
retraction.
right? Then later you
but
can
they
do what he
don't.
did, which is,
Right.
guess what? Never mind.
Right.
Yeah.
And they don't retract. All they do is they then, like, because this happens all the time. I see it on Twitter. People expose this all the time. And that's the other thing. It's Twitter. The news, every time I pull my phone down to refresh, there's 18 more stories. You know what I mean? Like, it's constant. So it's like, they don't have to retract anything. All they do is keep feeding you more bullshit. And it's like
And if they do, it doesn't matter anyway.
Right. Because you're not going to see
Because
everyone already bought into the original idea of the story.
Yeah.
But a lot of times what they'll do now is they'll edit, because now it's not print. It's all online. So they'll go back to the original story and just edit the headline to make it match more of what really happens,
Right.
but still keep the
New York
narrative.
Times did that to the story.
Yeah.
They did
And
the same
the
thing.
majority of people aren't woke.
Right.
Fake woke.
Right.
So they're not looking up these things.
Yeah, no one does research. The first thing I did when I saw this, I was like, let me see. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is they're not even looking at like the basics.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are it's just hearsay, and they hear somebody else say it, or they see a tweet.
They see a girl crying on live, and they're like,
they follow people to make them feel good, like Sean
King.
His name is King.
Yeah, he has millions of followers.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, and people, I see people post stuff up about him all the time, but yeah, they're Scar.
Right.
You know,
they're Scar.
Scar of Lion King.
Yo, we talk about Lion King on here a lot.
They find a way to manipulate so they can get in a position for themselves.
Right. Yeah. So, the whole reason why we went through all of that was just to highlight again the concept of don't be so quick to be pulled into the emotions of these things when you don't know everything that's involved with it. You don't know the way you're being led to believe something.
Yeah. And above all, it's about people being prideful enough to think they have the authority to judge every situation.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't. You know, why would you want to take that burden on yourself anyway? Like, an actual judge has to go through a lot to become a judge.
Right.
But everybody thinks they can judge. You know what I mean? And they're just so quick. I mean, it's this world conditions you to think in that way, to just judge everything. But take a step back, you know, humble yourself. Really humble yourself.
Right.
There's a difference between being honest, you know, and being humble.
Right.
And some people are honest, and eventually they'll see their flaws and they will humble themselves. You know what I mean? But when you want to be real, like, that's a whole nother thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Another hijack word.
Yeah, there's pride in that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just real. Yeah, you're so real that you can't see the truth.
So real that you're fake.
Yeah.
And that's what it becomes.
Because the statement is, it's all full of pride. You know, and that's where people get you. That's where they got, like, it's all about pride.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about people who are prideful. And we all have certain amounts of pride.
Right.
You know, and it's about seeing that and, like, okay, I gotta take a step back. But when you don't have that gauge at all,
right,
it's always about, my identity is being challenged. Let me press into this person. Let me knock them down.
Right.
You know, let me make them feel bad.
And I think this situation was a meeting of two of those same ideologies coming against each other. Yep. And in that moment, neither one of them is going to back down. Right. So then it becomes, all right, well, who holds the trump card as far as, like, identity, right? So she knew that if she throws the race thing in there, she wins.
Right. And the funny thing was, he's probably so judgmental. If somebody else was in that story, he probably would have been all over it,
right,
and upset and on her side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but because it was
right,
he was in it.
He threw her a spade.
That is hilarious. Yeah, he did. He threw her a spade. She threw that big joker out though. Well, she thought it was the big joker, right?
Yeah.
Then they said, nah, that's the little joker.
She got confused.
I got the big joker right here. Cuban, baby,
the
bam!
The big joker is the colored one.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't understand your spades references, guys.
Right? Guaranteed, baby. You got to know. She ain't bit her hand all the way out.
It was entertaining, though.
Yeah, it was entertaining to go to. When I saw that, because it was so hard to find the full clip of that confrontation. Everyone was just like cutting little pieces that they wanted to use, but I wanted to watch the whole thing to see what happened, and that's what y'all just saw basically, because no one was showing like when he was there and when she came up and how they, like, I wanted to see all of that.
Yeah, you know? I didn't know that they were there together
at
first, because I only saw the clip of him talking, and then they cut to her talking.
No, it's crazy. How crazy is it that he just showed up and didn't know she was going to be there? He literally went there to see the footage because he had just talked to the police.
And that says something to me too. Like, if that goes down and you said all these racist things and you really were like the douchebag of the year You going back to the store to talk to the managers and be like, oh, hell no.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. No.
You really have to be sure of whatever it was that you said. And he was like, no, you're wrong. I will say that I called you this and this.
Right. And he didn't stutter.
But I didn't say this other stuff.
Yeah, he didn't stutter.
Like she did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't back, like she was backtracking, her story changed.
I'm not gonna say he said go back where you came from, but he was saying, he was referencing those things.
Yeah.
Her story changed on the amount of items.
Yeah, her story changed a bunch of times.
She had, the amount of items her daughter had.
Right.
She had 5. She had 1. She had 2. Like, come on.
Yeah.
12.
Come on.
She had 12.
Well, we're talking about the daughter.
And it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter how many items you had, and yeah, it was dumb for him to care so much that you.
But see, he brought it up, and now she's trying. See, it's all about identity.
Exactly.
It's all about trying to prove yourself.
It's a battle of the hierarchy.
Yeah. So they're going back and forth because they have to.
Yeah.
When you don't care about that, you don't care. My bad. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Like regardless, I had more. I'm sorry. You know what
Even
I mean?
if maybe if she was nice about it, was like, look, I'm sorry, man, I'm pregnant and I just had to get out real quick.
Yeah.
My daughter's purchasing a few items.
Yeah.
She didn't do that. She was in his face, like, because like he said, she said, I don't give a crap. I'm 9 months pregnant. You know what I mean?
She didn't say I don't give a crap.
Yeah.
I don't care.
But yeah.
But it's like the lady said in the interview, you're a lawmaker. Like, should you be you should be the main one following the rules, right? Like, we're trusting you to make laws,
and that's the problem. You got people voting her in,
right?
You know what I mean? How much ain't nobody paying attention.
And he said it himself. He was like, I probably voted for you, just because she's Democrat.
Yeah.
He don't even know.
As soon as I saw the Cisco hair, I wasn't voting her in. That Cisco haircut, boy.
Cisco.
She came through with the Cisco, baby. She
Thong
was like,
song.
Let me see that thong. All right, so on that note, we're going to move on to the next topic I want to talk about. Like I said up top, we wanted to address the ASAP Rocky thing. Okay. And I don't know if you know the story. ASAP Rocky is currently in jail right now in Sweden because he got into a fight while he was out there. I think he was out there on some type of tour or something, doing a show, something like that. But he ended up getting into a fight with a couple guys. And the first when I heard the story, I'm sure y'all did too, was like, oh, rapper gets in fight and gets put in jail in Europe. I'm like, so? You know what I mean? I'm like, shocking. You know what I mean?
I didn't know anything about this.
You didn't know anything about this?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I heard stuff, but I didn't look into it.
Yo, I'm about to go deep on y'all. This is my own conspiracy theory about what's going on, but it's based in some real stuff. Y'all gonna see. Okay, so ASAP Rocky gets arrested for fighting these dudes, right? The footage comes out, people's cell phone footage again of him like throwing this guy across the street, and it's like, oh my god, he fought some guy, he's dumb. People are going in on him. Why would he do that? He has so much to lose. And then there was another person in his crew, it sounded like a female, that was filming most of the time what was going on before, what led up to the fight. And that's the first thing I want to watch, if you can find that. Oh no, you can play the TMZ clip first. Is that on there? So this is where we're at now, I think.
TMZ.
Yeah, we'll let Harvey make some money. Oh, okay, yeah, this is it here. So this is actually what happened beforehand. Can you full screen that? Yep, thanks. See, these dudes are following them around, and they're telling them to stay away.
Bullshit, you go down that way. You're trying me right now. Go that way.
That's his bodyguard. Now look, this dude hits the bodyguard. Look, he hit the bodyguard with his headphones right there.
Hey, go.
Come on. My iPhone. My headphones.
And they're still not doing anything to these guys.
You know?
Listen.
We don't want to fight y'all.
This is ASAP talking to them.
My headphone, he's
Look,
fucking
you
my
hit
headphone.
him with it.
I want my
I
headphone.
understand that you hit him with it,
I
bro.
want
Goes
down the street.
You don't understand.
Go down the street. Go down the street.
Listen, bro. It's okay, bro.
You fuck it,
Chill,
where you? Man,
All right, now pause it real quick.
Hey.
Now, did y'all notice what just happened right there? Were you paying attention?
They walked away?
No. And this is what stood out to me. He asked them, "Who are you? Who are you? Who are you?" Right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just keep watching. Let's just keep watching. You'll see. We're getting
Stop. Why you stop? He fucked with my
This is the woman that's filming.
You're following us. Go that way.
These dudes are following them everywhere they go. Like they're trying to start with them.
Bro, I'm not gonna keep that going the other way, bro. Go that way, bro.
Go that way.
Look, just for the cameras, we don't want no problems with these boys. They keep following us.
This came out after the fact, mind you.
They keep following us.
And the bodyguard went to go get somebody else. Like, yo, can you get these dudes? And watch, there's a woman comes over, and she tries to help out. And she's going to say something very, very key as well. See if you pick up on this. Everybody watching in the chat, see if you pick up on this.
Nah, he hit him with the headphones. That's it.
Sweet, he hit me with the headphones. He cut me on my head. I could really beat the shit out of him. I don't even know him. He's following us. We don't even know him. So tell him to leave us alone.
Go somewhere. Go that way, bro, before you get hurt. We don't want to hurt y'all. Go that way, bro. For real,
Thank you, sweet.
Go that way, bro.
What are you, serious?
Go that way, bro.
Okay, can we tell them who you guys are?
No, don't tell them nothing.
All right, pause it. Did you hear that?
I couldn't hear what she was saying.
She said, "Can we tell them?"
She said, "Can you tell them who you guys are so they can leave you alone? Can you tell them who you guys are so they? Why do they care so much
does that
about
matter?
who you are?
Yeah.
Why do they care?
Right.
Let's
But why
keep
are they
watching.
following?
Let's keep watching. This is my theory, boy. We gonna see. Put the pieces together.
Tell him to go ahead.
Tell them to stop following.
They still keep following them.
Yo, bro, what you doing, bro? What you doing?
Yo, go somewhere, man.
Now watch this.
Yeah, they keep we don't even know.
they're just
They
following.
keep touching us and following us.
This other guy,
Yeah.
he slapped my ass and my girlfriend's ass.
Okay, that's where it ends. She said, "This guy slapped my ass and my girlfriend's ass," and I was like, "Yo." Okay, now let's go to let's go to the other clip of TMZ where they give the update about how ASAP is not being let out of jail or something like that. I forget.
Couple different YouTube clips here, but I'm not sure.
All right, let me see.
which exact.
I will find it. Okay, so the first one, ASAP Rocky's attacker will not be charged. Yep.
A lot of bad news for ASAP Rocky. The wanted to press charges, and she did not. A lot of bad news for ASAP Rocky. The guy he allegedly assaulted has now been cleared of any assault himself. You'll recall that guy is the first guy who started harassing ASAP
So the
Rocky
dude that
and his crew.
they hit the dude
and
over
even
the head with the
attacked his
headphones,
bodyguard.
cleared of any assault
Now,
charges.
the Swedish prosecutors are saying that when the guy attacked the bodyguard, he did it in self-defense because the bodyguard picked him up by the throat off the ground.
Which could have happened. We didn't
said
see
that
that.
was self-defense, and that gave him a right to throw his headset at the bodyguard, cutting his head. Here's the problem with that. The bodyguard has also been cleared by Swedish authorities. So they cleared the
that was
bodyguard.
weird.
They
That's
cleared
weird.
the guy who allegedly started the assault in the first place. So how do they clear both of them if one is at fault? It makes no sense.
So President Trump and the State Department have tried to get involved in the case, but the Swedish Prime Minister has essentially told them to butt out, letting them know that the justice system will move at its own pace. Formal charges are expected on Thursday for Rocky.
Okay. Now, so it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Weird situation. They're being very secretive about it. Now let's go to.
Hold up. Trump administration is trying to butt in.
The Trump was trying to get him out of there.
Oh.
But Trump is racist.
Trump is racist.
I mean, let's not even get into that because there's so many people who are like, oh, just because he tried to get a rapper out of jail doesn't mean. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go into. So go to that clip that says leaked right there. So now we're gonna watch this. This is something that
vulnerable zones in the country has jumped to 23. The areas, often described in Swedish media as no-go zones, have sprung up across the country, particularly in the larger cities. The report adds that a parallel social structure has emerged in those areas, with police facing difficulty carrying out their duties there. The leak partly blames Islamic extremism for the problem. Some service providers have even refused to enter certain areas. In April, mail provider PostNord wouldn't enter Stockholm's Rinkeby suburb, citing security concerns. Rinkeby made headlines last year when police opened fire after a mob of around 30 people began attacking officers with rocks. In fact, the National Police Commissioner says the number of no-go zones...
Okay, so there's this phenomenon happening all over Europe, but a lot in Sweden of this thing called...
Because Sweden has let so many...
The most of anyone. So many refugees.
Because they're so...
People seeking asylum.
Liberal.
Right.
Very, very liberal.
So there's this phenomenon happening there called no-go zones, where the Islamic communities there have basically let everyone know, and sometimes they'll even do it with signs. You can look it up on YouTube. There's images of them putting up these signs up that says Sharia zone, no-go zone, don't come in here, basically. You know what I mean? Or you will be...
So they're taking
assaulted.
The country over.
Right.
In certain areas.
But Sweden is trying to suppress this because they don't want to first look bad for taking in that many refugees, and also they don't want people to not come there. You know what I mean? For fear of things that it'll hurt their economy. So they're trying to squash this. They're saying that it doesn't exist. It's a conspiracy theorist. All right, so let's go to the next clip there, which is the filmmaker discovers no-go zones in Sweden.
Our next guest has just returned from a trip to Europe. He went over there because he wanted to see the migrant crisis firsthand for himself. He went to no-go zones in Sweden. I didn't think there were such places, but there are no-go zones where the police do not go. While he was there, he was jumped by 5, apparently, Islamic thugs. The filmmaker Ami Horowitz is the man who went over there, and he joins us right now. First of all, I didn't know there was any such thing as a no-go zone in a place like Stockholm, Sweden. There is?
I heard about them. The truth is I didn't actually believe they were real. Right? I figured this is probably some kind of propaganda. Yes. I went there, met with the police officers. They said, when we're pursuing a suspect and they cross that threshold, and there's about 30 or 40 of them in Sweden, they will not pursue. They will simply not pursue.
There are 30 or 40 no-go zones in Swedish towns and cities.
Correct.
30 to 40 of them.
That's right.
Did you say that there were guns being used in these no-go zones?
They used to have, about 5 years ago, the police officers who I met with would say they'd have an incident of gun violence, let's say once a month, once every few months. Every day there's gun violence going on. And it's not simply staying, here's the problem, it's not simply staying in these enclaves, which, by the way, they say are states within states. Swedish law doesn't apply in these places.
All right, we can end that one.
What they
get
do
the gist.
is...
So this guy goes there thinking that it's a myth, and he ends up getting attacked. All right, now we're going to go to the next one I have there, no-go, dramatic increase in number of Swedish. Yep.
There's been
I'm showing these other sources.
Increase in so-called no-go zones across the country. The number of what Swedish officials call vulnerable areas has now reached 61. And according to the same report, up to 5,000 criminals are believed to be living in them, making up some 200 criminal networks currently active there. Problems in all the districts, which are heavily populated by migrants, well, the problems do remain the same.
get the gist. So the numbers are on the rise. Now let's talk about like what's happening in Sweden because of this. So the next one, the next one I want to show is the residents. The podcast. Why did Sweden cover up incidents of mass sexual assault? So this woman goes. This is like a blog article if it loads. And in it, there's an interview of a woman. We're not going to listen to the whole thing, but I'm just showing you that these sources exist, where she talks about how she was researching. That's the interview right there. She was researching this festival that happened in 2015, where there was a massive amount of sexual assaults that happened at this concert. Like bunch of underage women, bunch of girls got sexually assaulted during the concert, and a bunch of people got arrested. But the Swedish authorities tried to cover it up, and she was investigating that, trying to figure out why it was. And then she realized that it was because of the migrant thing, that they're not trying to get this out. So if anybody wants to check that out, they can see it here. So now moving on, we're gonna go to. The next, you can just go down the list. So the next one is another news story, and this is just a clip of showing how like residents of this one community had to start their own night patrol because there was a series of gang rapes happening in that area. And no one was doing anything about it, so they had to start putting their own forces together to go on patrol to make sure to police their own neighborhoods, basically, because people are being gang raped. Okay, next, let's move on. So this next article is a woman vigilante group is patrolling swimming pools, and you guys heard about this, right? Like how swimming pool areas are becoming these huge like. Rape situations now?
No.
So Swedish women start vigilante patrols at swimming pools after reports of sexual assaults by refugees. So what's happening is, because a lot of these people come from a place of Sharia law, right? And you can find clips of like them preaching about this, where it's like the women of the Western world that don't cover up,
they deserve to be raped.
Yeah. They pretty much deserve to be touched at least. You know what I mean? But a lot of times it ends up being more than that. And it's becoming a problem, especially at these public swimming pools. Because women are in bathing suits. You know what I mean? So
pretty much
a lot of these guys start getting aroused or whatever, and then they can't control themselves, and it becomes a sexual assault situation. And let's go to the next one. So the women started patrolling the pools themselves. Again, people taking matters into their own hands. These are things that we don't have to deal with here. Asylum seekers arrested for sexually assaulting girls at a German swimming pool. This is in Germany. Same thing happening.
Same pool picture.
Yeah, because it's the same paper. They're using the same stock photos. All right, now let's go to the next article. You can kind of get the gist. I'm just showing the thread of this throughout Europe.
It's a lot of threads.
So this next article, and I heard about this one a while ago. So a man raped a 10-year-old boy at a swimming pool. I think this was in the UK.
Yeah, man who raped child. Swimming pool because it was a sexual emergency.
It was a sexual emergency. I remember hearing that story. Yeah, he pulled a 10-year-old boy into the bathroom and raped him in one of the stalls. And when he was arrested, and then he just stayed there and chilled. And the boy went out, told the lifeguard. The lifeguard got the police. They came there. He was still there hanging out, diving off the diving board.
Austria.
That was in Austria, okay.
Yeah.
And then when they asked him about it, he said it was a sexual emergency because he hadn't had sex in 4 months. You know what I mean?
Man, that is a twisted way of thinking.
Right. So now let's go to.
He was an Iraqi refugee.
Yes. So now let's go to Sweden's Twitter. This is the official Sweden. This is it's on there. The Twitter page of Sweden. You know what I mean?
The Swedish.
We're going to show this. So Sweden itself is putting out propaganda to say that these no-go zones don't exist. Use the music. It's all wizardry, bro. Like this sentimental music to make you believe us. Believe us. Come here. Don't be afraid. So they're putting out the propaganda. They're really trying to squash this from the world. Mm-hmm. So now when you think about the ASAP Rocky situation, right? And go back and remember in your mind how these dudes were following them around.
The moment that I saw them,
yeah,
I knew. And the way they were acting, I knew they were probably like some
Syrians or something, yeah. Mm-hmm. But the funny thing is, on Twitter, a lot of people were saying, like, people from Sweden were saying, like, oh, I can't believe this happened, because they love ASAP. They're like, I can't believe this happened. Like, this is those guys aren't Sweden. They're immigrants. They're refugees. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're not Swedish people. This is not. They don't represent Sweden. You know what I mean? And I think that the reason why, like, the case is so weird is because that video and everything that's happening is kind of shedding light on what's going on over there, and they're trying to keep it quiet.
Right.
But now that ASAP Rocky is kind of mixed up in it, it's kind of shedding light on it, and I think that that's what's going on. Like, that's my theory, is that, like,
that's not a far-fetched thing to say.
When you look at, but a lot of people don't know. A lot of people aren't aware of what's going on over there. Because if you listen to mainstream news, they're not telling you about the migrant crisis over there.
Right. And that's what people don't get. People who want to be naive and think they know how everything works and how the world works and how everybody is, and everybody's just nice, and you got to just let everybody in.
You got to be nice, open borders.
Why do I also totally believe that, like, if some things were going down and it, like, kept happening, that the Swedish police would be like, nope, put some tape up. We're not going in there until you guys figure this out. Like, not risking lives. No.
Yep.
I believe that. Like, I think that's probably happening. I think if it's getting really bad, they're probably like, no, we're not going to deal with that. Right. Some protocol has to be put in order. You have to put in the big guns. Like, we're not just going to start dealing with gun violence every day when it used to be once a month.
Right.
That's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. And they're probably not even equipped to deal with it at this point. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're putting stress on the police force now because of some political agenda.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, how do we deal with it without bringing too much light to the situation?
Yeah. So, but when I first watched it and I heard these dudes saying, like, well, who are you? Like, they want to know, why are you walking through here? What are y'all doing in this neighborhood?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the woman says, well, can't you just tell them who you are so that they can let you go? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a police move.
Right.
Right? Like, who are you? Why are you here? And what are you doing?
And that's
I
what
see
they're
you
doing.
and you have caused me to be suspicious, so I'm going to question you.
And they're following them.
That's crazy.
They're not letting them go. They're following them until a confrontation happens. And then the other girls say, oh, he touched me and my friend on the butt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I showed the sexual assault stuff, because all of that is tied into that one video.
Right.
The fact that there's no-go zones where they're not letting people go into these areas that don't belong there, and women that are there for, like, concerts or whatever, because he was there for a concert, that are dressed like Westerners, they get assaulted. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's all being exposed in that video that came out on Twitter. So they're trying to, like, squash everything now. They're not letting ASAP talk. They're not letting anybody know what's going on. But the fact that the dude that assaulted the bodyguard got cleared of all charges, and the bodyguard got cleared of all charges, but ASAP Rocky's still in jail. You know what I mean? And no one knows anything that's going on. That it definitely, there's definitely some type of like agenda
cover
there.
up.
Yeah.
And they want to play this game of virtue signaling. You know what I mean, to everybody, but you can't.
Right.
You know, it falls apart. And then everybody starts attacking everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially them, because they're not civilized in terms of Western civilization.
Right. No, they totally don't agree with it.
Yeah. So they're literally gonna attack because they can't stand it. You know, because of the culture that they grew up in.
Right.
And as a Western country, why would you want to have any parts of that? Like, literally, what y'all all are talking about, rape and all that, that's going on, but you want to act like Muslim, and it's not all Muslims,
right?
Of course not. But I'm saying the ones from those areas,
right,
that Trump was putting a ban on,
right?
You know what I mean, that they didn't want, and then they act like that's racist. No, you guys don't understand what's going on in these places,
right?
It's not that easy,
and that's another reason why they're hiding it. Is because they made this decision. It's not going well in a lot of these communities, and it's happening a lot all over Europe.
Yeah.
So they don't want to look bad for that decision, so they have to, you know, keep squashing it and not let it get out there to people. And again, like, that's why it's like people don't understand what's going on. Why is he? Because it's deeper than him.
They need to just let it go, man. Made a mistake, let's fix it.
Yeah.
It's not that easy when you're in your pride.
But yeah, that's my theory. You guys,
that's actually not a. When you say conspiracy theory, that's well,
it
not
would
that
be considered
crazy.
one, right? Because even to say no-go zones, like the New York Times, Washington Post, they will all say you're a conspiracy theorist if you believe in no-go zones.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
They say you're conspiracy theorist for anything.
I know. They use that term to just, you know.
I want to
shut
look
you
at
down.
what was the filmmaker's name?
I forget.
Ari something.
Something Jewish.
I want to see his views. Well, he's Jewish.
Yeah, but it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah, you can't.
It's a shame.
That open border stuff, like that, it's so obvious to me. Like if you grow up, you know, following Sharia law, you think that, you know, you need refuge in a country that's, you know, Western.
Mm-hmm.
You think that they're not going to bring what they live with for all their lives and just live
and want to implement that. Yeah. And if you live in a society that will let them get away with it, they're going to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's just like anybody else would do that. If you move into a community, you're going to want to keep your rules, keep your way of life. You know, you see that in a lot of those districts in Minnesota that we were talking about before. You know, they interviewed people and asked them, would you rather abide by U.S. law or Sharia law? And they all say Sharia law.
And that's the problem. Because, yeah, you can come to this country. You can follow your religion. But they take it a step further.
Right.
Their religion is their law.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they want to follow Sharia law. They'd rather do that than have freedom of speech. They don't want what this country has to offer.
But even if they wanted to do that, but leave others alone, that's a different thing, right? Like if you say your community is going to follow Sharia law because that's what you believe in, it's like, okay, that's one thing. But then when you say, but if Rachel walks down the street with, you know, some shorts on,
that's in their
community.
What I mean? But that's the problem. You can't follow Sharia law in the United States of America
I think
because it's a different law.
That's my thought process too. That it's kind of like an incompatible thought process to be like, I'm coming to America to be free and be able to express myself religiously, and then I set up my religious like commune or grounds, or we rope it off, and inside this area there is no freedom and there is no rights, and we can do whatever we want. Like that's no, you can't do that. you can be here, but you can't set up a community in which you start gang raping people for sexual emergencies, and it's fine.
Or
Like
chopping off heads.
Right. No.
You know what I mean? Like
honor killings. You can't do that stuff. It's not legal.
It doesn't. It's not like it's not compatible with the law in the United States of America.
Right.
And the law is set up in that way for a reason. If you don't want to abide by that, then you need to go.
Ooh. Dog whistling right there, boy.
No,
You can't say that.
Hey, but if you want to abide by it, that's basics.
I know.
Is that
Just
not basics?
joking.
Like
I'm
it's
just
the
joking.
it's the law.
Right.
You don't want to abide by the law. You want to do what you want.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's why they want to change the law in a lot of reasons. That's why you got people like Ilhan Omar, and they want to change the laws. In one way, it's to benefit the way they see it, and another way, it's to benefit hate crimes.
Right.
The way victims see it. Because I don't want to say just black victims. It's all kinds of victims. You know, they want to bring in laws that'll benefit. Well, there are already laws that'll benefit the illegal immigrants, but they want more laws. For them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all about what can I get? What can I get? It's not about the greater good. It's not about the whole. It's not about the fullness of America.
Right.
It's about let me get my piece.
Right.
And that's selfish. And it doesn't do any. It divides. It never brings because when somebody comes and steps over that line, whether you're with them for the moment or not, they're going to attack you.
Mm-hmm.
It's always divide. And then you never bring people together because you can't. Because it's literally designed to divide people and separate. And people don't see that. They get caught up in the emotion of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're emotional.
That's what everything is about.
You're emotional. You're unstable.
Everything now is about finding what emotion I can pull out of you or latch onto from you and then capitalize off of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All right, Just. Yeah, but so ASAP Rocky basically got himself mixed up in something he had no idea. You know what I mean? And that's the sad part about it is like, and that's the danger when you travel in other countries that don't have the freedom that we have here. They don't have the system that we have in place here.
But like, who would have ever thought that? Like, that's a case of he's in the wrong place at the wrong time, thinking I'm gonna walk into Sweden. My fans are here. I know they love me. We're cool to walk down the street. I got my bodyguard, and no, now you're in jail.
Sweden is the most liberal, most loving place. Everyone loves Sweden. You know what I mean? Swedish meatballs, IKEA, H&M,
Sweden,
H&M.
Right. And guess what? People are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
If a dummy comes into a certain neighborhood and they say, "Hey guys, I love everybody. You want some money? Go ahead."
What you doing with that dude?
A bag of money. You can't take all this money because I have to distribute this amongst everybody.
Right.
No, somebody's going to come up. Somebody's going to rob his ass.
Right.
And it's going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. That's stupid. You can't think that everybody, just because you want to be virtuous, that everybody's just going to take it and just... Okay,
see your virtuosity and be honorable about
they're
it.
going to take advantage of it. They're going to look for a way to take advantage of you because they see a weakness there. Because you are weak.
Mm-hmm.
You're weak because you don't believe that people... Like, look at all those people who went to different countries. I'm going to show that there's no hate in this world.
Hate doesn't exist.
Hate doesn't exist, and they're dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a shame. Because this is the stupid stuff we got in this country now. This fake love. Because it's fake love.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real love. It's fake virtue. It's fake love. It's to make myself feel good.
It's narcissistic love.
Yeah. I can manifest my own reality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
We were just talking about that, me and Rachel, the other day, about like, and y'all know this from spending time in LA, like, that type of love out there where it's like you really have no friends. You know what I mean? Everyone, every relationship you have out there is someone's using someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's under the microscope.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Everybody's judging everything.
Yeah.
Who wants to live like that? It's burdensome.
Right. I totally agree.
10 o'clock.
Me too.
All right. Perfect. I think we'll leave it there, man. We getting done early today. That's what's up.
We started on time.
I gotta come at 5:30 every day, apparently.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so that was a good one, man. We worked through some real stuff.
Thank you, Jamie, for having that all ready for us.
I was entertained and found out some things I didn't find out.
See, I gotta stop telling y'all about stuff ahead of time. Just start dropping it on you before we do the podcast, so we can all learn together.
Yeah.
But thank you guys for watching. Oh, Stan just tuned in.
Stan was supposed to be here.
I know he backed out. He said he got done work late.
Oh, okay.
But this would have been a perfect one for him to sit in on. But yeah, we appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week. In the meantime, make sure you like, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Pretty soon we will be streaming on more platforms. We're working on that right now. We just got the new internet signed up for. We're going to get it all installed, and then we will be able to stream on YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, all that stuff we're looking at. But make sure y'all support. Go to the patreon.com/YoungLionTV. Become a member. You can sign up. You can donate. You can sponsor the podcast and help us get some more equipment. Help us get a camera on Rachel so she can chime in and you can see what she looks like. And then anything else y'all want to say before we get out of here?
No. Go support. And do some research.
Yeah, do some research.
Don't be all emotional when you see something.
Yeah,
I'm actually the opposite.
Stop buying into hashtags. I'm the same way,
I'm
dude.
the opposite.
I'm skeptical of everything.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stop buying into these stupid hashtags.
Go watch Lion King.
Yeah.
A lot of revelation in there, that movie.
I know,
cool.
I gotta see it.
Same exact.
The old Lion King was too.
The old Lion, yeah. But it's just good to see it again.
Yeah.
It wasn't better tthan the old one though.
No, it wasn't. No. But it's cool to see.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, y'all know we're about that them lions on Young Lion TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. We out of here.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people ill.